So the guys are going to run some pinhole on the end of this. This line is so flat that it's going to hold water. When you take a line to a pop-up emitter with no slope, it's going to hold water in the line, unless you can daylight that. Meaning that you just run to a ditch embankment. You know, then it just daylights in the ditch. Now, you know, you won't hold any water. A pop-up emitter with no slope, the line's going to hold water. It's not a big deal. We've been doing this for years. We've been showing this for years. We'll use knife cut when we can't get pinhole, but man, are we in luck. We were able to get a customer on a pinhole, so we're going to show this done in pinhole. All the water left in this line is going to slowly leach away. All right, so Cal's putting the pinhole with an external coupler. He's connecting it to the solid 4-inch. We are going to tape this, and I'll tell you why we decided to tape this. You're going to lose too much of your water pressure at this fitting. Like, that's a big opening. There's big gaps where this connector goes together. You don't want to do that. So the pinhole, that's the beauty of the pinhole. It's going to act as a solid pipe and take all the bulk water to the pop-up emitter. When the storm's over and there's no more water pressure because you don't have water coming off the roof anymore, what's left in the line can leach away into the subsoil. You can see the pinholes. Love that pipe. This pipe was discontinued for many years, and we got really lucky. One of our partner manufacturers took really good care of us by running us a batch of this pinhole. So it could be the last of it. We may never see it again. You just never know. This machine is from the 70s, and it's outdated, and it's really not worth building another one. Knife cut has taken the place of pinhole. Having said that, in this kind of application, I prefer pinhole over knife cut, but when pinhole is not available, knife cut will do. All right, we're putting a sock on it. And this is overkill. I'm going to tell you right now, this is an old habit that we have because you have to put sock on knife cut. You have no choice. You have to put a sock on knife cut when it's used like this. I've seen knife cut fill up with dirt in low flow applications when you do not have a sock on it. Pinhole, that's a different animal. You really don't need it, but again, old habits are hard to break, and you know, we just like overkill. For the price of sock, it's a low expense for just another little added layer of insurance. Now, if you're doing a whole farm field and it's a sandy farm field, pinhole's ideal. It's the poor man's socked pipe. You don't need a sock. We have two downspouts that we're tying together over here. They're going to be on a 4-inch main. We got some shrub roots. So Cal's spreading the copper sulfate in the trench. This is going to push the roots away. Now, this is not a French drain system, so that copper sulfate is going to be in the soil for quite a while. It's going to take a while for that to dissipate. In a French drain, it would go a lot quicker, so we'd probably want to use some copper sock, and if the roots were really bad, we'd use the copper fabric. But this is a downspout roof runoff system. All the pipes are solid, and they go to a pop-up emitter. So this copper sulfate works the best, and it will hang around for many years. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our copper sock, and it's not going to go over this sock, not without any trouble. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to put 2 strips of copper sock, one up against each wall where we have all these roots coming in. This copper sock is going to release copper ions into the soil, and it's going to push the roots away. Now, the copper sulfate, that works today. That works now, immediately. This copper sock, it'll take months for it to dissipate into the soil, but it'll also take years for it to biodegrade and disappear. It'll be around for a really long time. I feel pretty confident that we've given this line 30 years of protection. Now, the guys had to put a riser on this catch basin. The risers are 2 inches, and they stack on each other. You could use 1, 2, 3, whatever you need to get to the surface. Now, our catch basin lid won't be beneath the grade. We want it to be level with the turf grass. This came out really nice. These are all the added details that we bring to an installation. We're going to do our pop-up like we always do, but notice how it's going to be wrapped in copper underneath that fabric. The copper works better if you come in contact with the soil. So Cal's going to pour some pea stone around our pop-up. He's going to be able to pour pea stone under the pop-up. This pop-up emitter doesn't need a riser because he can set this lid to grade by using the pea stone under it. Small stone like pea stone, it packs really nice around the pop-up because when lawnmowers drive on it, you don't want it to twist and turn. Sometimes if you're using like an 1.5 inch aggregate, something really large, it doesn't lock the plumbing in place. That's textbook. Just cut a small hole and stretch the fabric over the fitting. You know, don't overthink it. It's one of those things where it doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to cover up the stone so that the dirt, when you put dirt on top of this, doesn't migrate into the voids of the stone. That's how it should look right there. You got the fabric nice and tight, the stone all wrapped up. Now you can start packing the stone in around the pipe and the pop-up. The reason why pinhole was replaced with knife cut, the machine, as you can imagine, that makes these tiny little pinholes. When you break those pieces, the tooling, that punctures the holes. Basically, the equipment became obsolete because it was high on maintenance. The parts became unavailable. The machine was made back in the 70s. I don't know of any of them that are still running. I asked a partner, one of our partner manufacturers, if the thing would run, if they could resurrect it and do a special run for French Drain Man. I can't thank them enough for pulling that tired machine out, getting it going. Now, it does have some broken, pieces of tooling. You can see like how this doesn't have any pinholes, that one strip right there. And you can see that all the way around the pipe. And that's why they retired it, because they don't want people, criticizing their quality. Again, you can see areas that aren't heavy with punctures. That's the tooling. The tooling that there's no longer any parts for. You can see obviously all the tooling that punctured here and here, those rows are missing. I love the pipe. When they ran it and said, is this acceptable? I said, absolutely. This is fantastic. I love the pipe. I'm sad that it's a thing of the past, but who knows? With newer technologies, we might come up with a way in a few years to do a more modern version of the pinhole. Always stand on the pipe before you start pushing the dirt in. The dirt will push the pipe aside and it'll get under the pipe. You'll lose that perfect slope. If dirt goes under the pipe here, it's going to raise the pipe. Now sediment will get trapped right here where the line goes up. You don't want that. That's going to cause a clog. You see the guys, they work by standing on the pipe. We have an extra heavy duty pipe. All of our pipe is strong enough to support the guys. Right here at the pop-up at the discharge end, we're starting to bury the pinhole. Again, just don't overthink this. You see what we have. That copper is going to protect that pinhole pipe. The copper sulfate under it is going to start protecting it today. there's 3 layers of insurance. You have the copper sulfate, the copper sock, and then we do have the sock, just to protect it against sediment. Some might call this overkill, but this is why people hire us. That's what makes the difference between this lasting the homeowner their lifetime and it only making it a few years. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. It supports the channel. If you have any questions about yard drainage, leave them in the comments section. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until the next video.